sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, so today we're diving into some recent news about Gene Hackman.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, we know you've probably already heard that he and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, recently passed away.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going beyond the headlines here, using a set of photos as our entry point.
Interesting.
To uncover a glimpse into Hackman's life after the spotlight.
Okay.
These photos featured in a People article are some of the last taken of Hackman and Arakawa almost a year before they passed.
Oh.
There's a certain poignancy to them, wouldn't you say? A rare peek into their private world during Hackman's retirement years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Considering how fiercely the couple guarded their privacy, these images offer a really unique window into Hackman's world, after he made that conscious decision to step away from Hollywood.
Yeah. These photos show them at Papado's Seafood Kitchen in Santa Fe, where Hackman was a longtime resident.
Okay.
It's March 28th, 2024. Hackman is 95, using a walking stick, holding onto Arakawa's arm.
Wow.
They're dressed casually, just enjoying a meal together. It paints such a vivid picture, doesn't it?
It does. And it's such a stark contrast to their last public appearance together all the way back in 2003 at the Golden Globes, where Hackman received the Cecil B. DeMille Award.
Oh, wow.
To go from that level of recognition to a quiet life away from the cameras. It speaks volumes about what he truly valued.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what prompted him to walk away from acting at the height of his career.
Right.
It wasn't a fading star situation. He was still at the top of his game.
Right, and the People article gives us some clues. In 2004, Hackman mentioned in an interview that his career was probably all over, and that no new scripts were piquing his interest.
So it wasn't a sudden decision, more like a gradual realization.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
Then in 2008, he publicly confirmed his retirement.
Okay.
He didn't want to risk tarnishing his career by keeping pressing.
Interesting.
There's a sense of contentment in his words.
Yeah.
Like he had reached a point of fulfillment and was ready to move on.
He even said in 2011 that he'd only consider another film under extremely specific private circumstances. He clearly knew his worth and what he was willing to compromise on. But just because he stepped away from acting doesn't mean he stopped being creative.
Exactly. And this is where it gets fascinating. Instead of chasing more fame, he dove into passions that resonated with him personally.
Oh, okay.
He became a novelist, publishing 4 books,
Wow.
including Payback at Morning Peak and Pursuit.
And he lent his voice to documentaries like The Unknown Flag Raiser of Iwo Jima and We the Marines.
Yes.
It's like he was exploring different facets of himself through these projects.
I think you're right. His painting speaks to his creative side. His writing reveals his love of storytelling and history. And his narration choices hint at his patriotism and connection to his past as Marine. It seems these weren't projects about accolades or money for Hackman,
Right.
but genuine interests he wanted to explore.
It challenges the way we typically define success, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He was already wildly successful in Hollywood, but found deeper meaning in pursuing his own path regardless of external validation.
It really does. Hackman's story reminds us that genuine fulfillment often comes from aligning your actions with your values and finding joy in the process itself. But what's intriguing is why these specific passions resonated with him so deeply.
Let's explore that. What can we learn about Hackman's inner world by looking at the themes and details of his post-acting work?
That's a great question. Let's start by delving into his novels. His writing gives us some clues as to what might have been going on beneath the surface. For example, both Payback at Morning Peak and Pursuit are westerns, a genre known for exploring themes of justice, morality, and rugged individualism.
Interesting. And his choice to narrate documentaries about the military aligns with those themes as well. What stands out to you about those specific documentaries?
Well, The Unknown Flag Raiser of Iwo Jima delves into the story behind one of the most iconic images of World War II.
Right.
A photo that captured a moment of heroism and sacrifice. And We, the Marines, offers a comprehensive look at the history and ethos of the Marine Corps. Hackman himself served in the Marines, so it seems there's a deep personal connection there.
So we see these recurring threads of courage, duty, and honor woven throughout his choices. It makes you wonder if he found a sense of purpose in exploring these themes through his creative work.
I think that's a very astute observation. It's almost as if he was grappling with these big questions about what it means to be a man, about facing adversity, about leaving a legacy, and found an outlet for that exploration in his art.
This is where it gets really fascinating. We have these external clues, the photos, the career choices, the themes of his work, but what do they tell us about Hackman's internal world? What was he seeking? What did he find? Let's dive deeper into that in the next part of our deep dive. It feels like Hackman was drawn to stories of valor and resilience. Is there something about his acting career that might have fueled this fascination?
That's an interesting thought. His career was full of characters who faced challenges head-on, from the relentless Popeye Doyle in The French Connection to the morally complex Little Bill Daggett in Unforgiven.
And let's not forget Lex Luthor in Superman.
He
could be charming, menacing, and everything in between.
He truly had an incredible range. As he got older, he seemed to gravitate towards roles that explored human nature in all its complexity.
Yeah.
Like his Oscar-winning performance in Unforgiven.
Even in the Royal Tenenbaums, he managed to make a flawed, scheming patriarch somehow lovable.
Right.
It's like he understood the human condition, all its flaws and contradictions, and brought that depth to every role. Do you think that exploration of human nature on screen might have sparked a desire to explore it in a different way through his own creative pursuits?
That's a compelling argument. Perhaps having explored such a breadth of human experience on screen, he felt drawn to grapple with those same complexities from behind the canvas or the page.
So maybe his acting career wasn't just about the roles he played, but also about the questions it raised for him about life, morality, and the human spirit. And instead of seeking answers in more scripts, he found himself drawn to exploring these themes through painting, writing, and narration.
It's fascinating to consider, isn't it? We often think of actors as inhabiting other people's stories. But maybe for Hackman, it was a springboard for delving into his own.
And there's this recurring theme of choosing his own path.
Yeah.
He walked away from Hollywood on his own terms, and then he carefully selected projects that aligned with his interests, even if they weren't necessarily mainstream or commercially driven.
It's a testament to his sense of self-awareness and intentionality.
Right.
He wasn't afraid to step away from the spotlight or to pursue projects that might have been considered niche. He seemed to prioritize personal fulfillment over external validation.
It's a powerful reminder that true success isn't about chasing fame or fortune,
But
about aligning your actions with your values and finding joy in the process.
it really is. And in a world that often glorifies the relentless pursuit of Hackman's choices stand out as a quiet rebellion.
Yeah.
He chose a life of quiet passion over the clamor of Hollywood, and perhaps found a deeper sense of purpose in that choice.
And maybe that's why these final photos resonate so deeply.
Those images of him and his wife at a simple lunch away from the flashing lights and red carpets, they offer us a glimpse into that quieter life he chose.
A life lived on his own terms, pursuing the things that truly mattered to him.
And maybe that's the most enduring legacy he leaves behind.
Yeah.
Not just the iconic roles he played, but the quiet courage to step away from the spotlight and embrace a different kind of success.
And in a way, doesn't that make those final photos even more powerful? They're not just a snapshot of a moment in time, but a reflection of an entire life lived with intention and purpose.
Absolutely. And it begs the question, what can we learn from Hackman's example? How can we apply his approach to finding fulfillment in our own lives, even if our paths look very different?
It's interesting because on the surface, Hackman's life might seem very different from most of ours.
Yeah.
But are there any universal truths we can glean from his journey, regardless of our own professions or passions?
I think there are, actually. At its core, Hackman's story is about authenticity, about aligning your actions with your values and finding joy in the process. It's about having the courage to define success on your own terms, even if it means stepping away from external validation or societal expectations.
That's such an important point. We often get caught up in comparing ourselves to others or chasing external markers of success.
Right.
But Hackman's story reminds us that true fulfillment comes from within.
Exactly. It's about finding what truly resonates with you and pursuing it with passion and intention, regardless of whether it brings fame or fortune. And it's about having the self-awareness to recognize when a chapter in your life has come to a natural close and having the courage to embrace a new one.
So even though most of us aren't Oscar-winning actors, we can all relate to that search for purpose and meaning in our lives.
Absolutely. We all have our own unique talents and passions to explore. And while our paths may not lead us to Hollywood or the world of art, the underlying principles of Hackman's journey, authenticity, intentionality, and courage, are universal.
It makes you wonder what the world would be like if we all approached our lives with that same level of self-awareness and intentionality.
It's a thought-provoking question, isn't it? What if we all took the time to identify our core values, to pursue our passions with gusto, and to have the courage to walk away from things that no longer serve us?
I think the world would be a much more vibrant and fulfilling place, with each of us contributing our unique gifts and talents.
I agree. And maybe that's the most inspiring takeaway from Hackman's life. He showed us that it's possible to live a life true to yourself, to find joy in the process of creation, and to leave a legacy that extends far beyond fame or recognition.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today, we want to leave you with this. Think about what resonates with you about Hackman's story. What lessons can you apply to your own life, your own journey? What steps can you take to ensure that you're living a life that feels authentic and meaningful to you?
And remember, it's never too late to redefine what success means to you, to embrace your passions, and to chart your own course.
Thanks for joining us on this exploration of Gene Hackman's life and legacy. We'll be back next time with another deep dive into a fascinating topic. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep living with intention.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.